Good morning, guys. So, it was a little hot last night, but I slept well. I probably slept better on my Big Agnes Repeat SL sleeping pad than I do at my house, but that's the efficacy of nature for you. As you can see, a set of Los Padres turkeys has come to inspect the site and maybe find something a camper has inadvertently left out for them. You often do see these turkeys in the forest as you're driving down Paradise Road. The best time to see them is either in the morning or in the late afternoon. I put my rainfly on last night before I slept, even though there was a low chance of rain. It just provides a sense of security and helps me sleep. I've actually written an article on feeling safe at night when you're sleeping out in nature. I'll leave a link in the description below to the article on the Camp Hike Live California website. And the soup of the day is actually going to be some oatmeal with some apples and hemp seeds. I've collected some potable water from the faucet across from my campsite and poured it into my Sea to Summit pocket shower. The shower does hold something like 10 liters of water, but I don't feel like lugging 20 pounds of water up this tree to hang it for my shower. And of course, I let it sunbathe a little bit beforehand, just to have a little bit warmer water. I moved my tent into Site 3 of the campsite, as I was camping first come, first serve on this day. This site is certainly more sun exposed, so a little bit less desirable than last night's site. And of course it has to be 99 degrees out on the day I want to hike. The Aliso Loop Trail in Los Padres connects the Sage Hill Campground to the Upper Oso Campground and features a 1-mile flat educational trail that runs along a creek in the area. Because of the hot weather and drought, the creek was dried up, and so was the hiking population on this trail. There are 21 trail markers along the path that exhibit an array of plants and resources used by the Chumash Indians. These include, but are not limited to, the coastal live oak tree, the yucca, the willow, the elderberry, the sugar bush, the sagebrush, the toyon, and the sycamore. These coastal live oak trees produce a lot of acorns, and everything from deer to squirrels to jays to those brash acorn woodpeckers take advantage of them. Even the Chumash would grind the acorns up and turn them into flour. The arid stillness of the land, with the occasional chirp or scurrying of the western fence lizard alongside these deep and dark gray crevices born in the Jurassic through Eocene ages, provides such a wondrous trail to behold that has both Southern California familiarity as well as a unique beauty which I am aware that I may only see a handful of times in my life. And would there not be beauty if there were not also poison? And here we have some poison ivy. It looks to me that I dare not look at it too long. This particular educational trail had a elevation gain of about 239 feet and had a max elevation of 1,188 feet according to Strava, with the steepest part at the 0.6 of a mile marker into the trail. You can hear me huffing and puffing up this particular section. This modest elevation gain did afford me some better views of the valley I was walking through, and it was notable how the lighter green foliage popped against the khaki landscape. These numbers correlate with numbers on a self-guided tour, but there weren't any maps or anything at the trailhead, so maybe I can look online later on. All along the trail I keep seeing this particular type of scat. I'm not sure what it is. It has some type of local berries in it. I continued along the trail and the valley views continued to get better, but I could tell that I was getting near to the end of this educational trail as the steeper landscape began to present itself in a more proximal fashion. Since I was the only hiker willing to entertain this 99-degree ambient temperature, I would occasionally loudly clap when I would come around the bend at different points along the trail, just to alert any animals in the area that may not appreciate a hiker coming up upon them. Number 21 may be one of the last markers on this trail. It looks like the trail starts to go up this mountain afterwards, so it gets away from the creek bed. So it's about 1 mile into the trail. I have an appointment to go do some wine tasting later on, so I think I may just call it quits right here. Turn around. I think I figured out what the berries are in that scat I've been seeing on the trail is, I think it's from these sycamore trees. It's actually sycamore nut. This creek bed is pretty dry. I've been crossing it back and forth over the last mile. They say it may get some water in the wintertime, and that's what keeps these sycamores alive. But as of right now, in the summer, it's bone dry. Here's an interesting log that's along the trail. It looks like it's been all burnt up from the inside, like someone's come along and tried to get rid of it by burning the inside, but who knows. So I just hiked Aliso Canyon, but if you want to, you can go up this steep hill here, all the way up, and you can get to the Upper Oso campground from that way. After the hike, I partook in some bubbly rosé at the Colico in Los Olivos. Then I explored the church a little bit more. Though grass is a luxury in Southern California, it is a welcome feature to the grounds of this church. If you're in the area and stop by, there is a donation box beside the bathrooms that you can put a little money into if you enjoyed the welcomeness of the church grounds here. Since I was going solo on this particular trip, such afforded me the ability to explore the more peripheral streets around the Solvang Commons, and once back to its heart, I purchased another glass of wine before I decided to head back to camp. I popped in to see how my tent was doing, and things looked a-okay other than the lack of shade this time of day provided. Afterwards, I decided to go past the Los Padres first crossing and deeper into the park. The Falls Day Use area was a place I've visited in the past and used as an access point to the river, but as you'll see in the subsequent footage, the river is incredibly dry and nothing is flowing. So I'm standing where the river used to be, I guess because of the drought. It's pretty dried up. Normally you would see river all across this shot, up to the point where you see the long grass and cattails, but as of August 2022, not so much. I was here maybe, 2 years ago, and where I'm walking now, it was just river. I was just standing in the middle of the river, and for the most part, you could just walk across, but there's a little bit of a deeper spot right in here where the water still is. But it was just kind of a lazy river. It's the same deal when you drive past Lake Cachuma, where there used to be water. It's just this grass type stuff that's growing in place. There's actually a significant amount of river rock up in this dry bed, which is above where I just showed you. So maybe long ago, this used to be part of the river. And I'll turn the camera down to where you can see where the water is now. Way down in there. And likely because of the drought, I'm the only car in the parking lot here. I've been carrying my bear spray with me. So far so good though. It's really hot out here. I don't know if you can actually see any bears or not. Again, another riverbed that's completely dry here. Seems to me like there used to be a lot of water right here when I crossed. Here's another area I used to access the river from, but looks like there's no river. It's just all dry. And though I could not find any flowing water in the area, there was still lots of beautiful foliage growing throughout the valley here. And as the giant clock of the wood pushed out the sunlight from my campsite, I went ahead and set up my battery and my lights for tonight's camp. My camp battery still had 12.8 volts from last night's usage, so I was good to go for at least another night without having to recharge the battery with the solar panel or at home. The day's activities thus far made it such that I was ready for a little rest, so I climbed into the tent and hung out a little bit. Because there was some wind earlier in the day, I tied the fly to the poles with these little fly ties that the manufacturer has sewn on. For a backpacking tent, this Featherstone Peridot does provide generous pockets on all four sides, but because it is a cheaper model tent, it provides no waterproof seam seal on this transition from the bathtub to the upper reaches of the tent. Alright folks, it's about that time again. Do a little biscuits and gravy. And I cooked chicken yesterday, so I'm just going to use aluminum foil, maybe put it in here, heat up my chicken. Sizzling, so that's a good sign. I like this Mountain House biscuits and gravy. Not only does it taste good, but the packet is not as tall as one of those backpackers pantry meals, so you don't have to have a long spoon to get in there. My battery crept down overnight to 12.4 volts as, again, I left the lights on all night long. If you're interested in the instructions on how to make one of these, head on over to the camphikelive.california.com website, and there's some instructions there. Link in the description below. And it's finally time to say goodbye to site number 3 at the Paradise Campground as I am heading home. So thanks for watching, and we'll see ya on the next one.